We're gonna ask you a little bit about Anthony. Obviously, we know how good he is, but it's almost to the point where his touch to touchdown ratio is just ridiculous. Have you, in all the years that you've been coaching, have you ever seen anything like this before?
Well, no, not personally. I've never had a guy like that. In fact, myself and one of the other coaches were talking about it the other day, and he was talking about how many touchdowns he has in 16 games. And I said, well, yeah, just think about how many touches he's had. The ratio from touches to touchdowns is something remarkable. I've never seen, actually.
Yeah, I think so far this year, it's like 31% of his rushes have been touchdowns, and 30% of his completions have been touchdowns too. Does that almost, in a way, make you want to find a way to get him the football even more?
Well, yeah, it does. And as a matter of fact, just the other day, when we were in the game, I thought, wow, we need a touchdown, and I put him in the game, and a touchdown. So, yeah, we'd like to get him the ball as much as possible. Of course, I don't want to give him the ball so much he's going to get beat up, and we're not going to get him through the season. But I think the more we can get the ball to that kid, the more touchdowns we're going to score.
You did put on some weight in the offseason. What have you noticed so far in terms of the difference from last year to this year? The increased weight, but the speed still seems to be there. And in terms of his durability, does he seem like a guy who could be more durable throughout the course of the entire season?
Well, yeah, I think he's pretty darn durable. I mean, the kid has always been tough. Even last year, he made some runs that I thought were big-time runs, and some runs that were physical runs, even though he didn't have the size. He's got a few more pounds now, and I mean, as everybody can see, he's made some great plays, breaking tackles, which with that kind of speed and his ability to cut and his ability to see, that just makes him that much of a better running back.
Maybe that fumble at the goal line was one of the few things that has gone wrong for him basically this season. But with a guy that has so much raw talent like that, raw ability, how do you coach that?
Well, just tell him to hang on to the football, and hang on to the football and keep scoring touchdowns. You know, he got a little bit relaxed on that play, and the one thing about him, when he makes a mistake, he learns from it. That won't happen again. And that's what I love about the kid. You know, he'll make a mistake here and there. Not a whole lot of them, though. And he's going to make so many big plays. He's going to make up for stuff like that.
For Byron Marshall, there was a lot of improvement from game one to this third game. Obviously, they playing in the middle game in between. But I think Chip had mentioned it looked like he was running a lot more north-south and less east-west. And we had talked about some of that hesitation that he had and not knowing down and distance on third and short. But what was the biggest difference that you noticed from Byron?
Well, the biggest difference I noticed was that he ran more aggressively. He wasn't worried about trying to make the big play. I think the first game that he was in, you know, he was worried about making an impression. He was looking for an opportunity to make a big play and not just playing hard, letting the big play happen.
So how much has he matured just in a couple of weeks now?
Well, I think he's maturing every week, a little bit more every week, and his maturity comes in the game, but more so in practices where he's watching the veteran guys and he's getting coached and getting coached on the things that he's doing wrong and how to improve those things.
You've mentioned before that you truly believe that he's going to be a guy that you're going to need to rely on at some point this season. Does he seem like a guy who's ready to play in the Pac-12?
Absolutely. I think he's going to be a guy that, as I said, we're going to have to depend on. He's our third guy right now. We're going to be using DeAnthony in a lot of different places. He's going to be doing a lot of running. He's on special teams, so he's going to need to be fresh for those things, and we're going to need to rest Kenyon. So that means we're going to have a third guy, and I think Byron is the guy that can do that right now. He's got to get in a little better shape. He got a little winded on Saturday, but I think he's going to be a guy who can go in there and handle 10, 12 carries for us.
There was a penalty on the play, but what'd you think of Brian Bennett as a running back?
Well, I thought Brian did a great job. He's been hounding me for a couple of years now to get him on my board. I got all the running backs pictures up there, so finally I got him right in the middle of the board and showed it to him this morning. He was real happy.
You guys ran the heck out of the ball against Arizona last year, and now